this is AT and welcome back to the channel. I was talking with a friend of mine on Instagram the other day. He's based in New York as well as me. And lately I've been trying to get a little bit more into gathering broadband data, galaxies and such. And I did try to capture Sombrero galaxy the other day, and it went well. I will show you the result by the end of this video. Okay, so I will tell you about this filter that I purchased. It's Antlia. Actually, let me show it to you over here on the phone. It's Antlia quad band anti-light pollution filter, and it's mounted, and I do have a filter wheel, even though I do have the QHY 268C camera on the RC telescope. I still have the filter wheel because I do have different, I want to have the option to add different filters over there. In this situation, for the broadband, I think this filter is great. It's very, very good. I did take Sombrero Galaxy with it, and I'm planning to take the next one, the Whirlpool Galaxy. But Sombrero, I do have a finite image that I can show to you at the end of the video. And the discussion over here is very interesting, because if you do have a monochrome setup, that doesn't really help you in the city because of the light pollution. If you use LRGB, like normal filters, you would get a lot of light pollution, a lot of gradient. I didn't even try to actually do this. The only way I shot galaxies was with a color camera, and usually with the light pollution filter, like Optolong L Pro or Optolong Enhanced. Actually, I used, if you go to Optolong L Extreme, that's not good because that's for narrow band imaging. So you can shoot with a color camera for a nebula, but that has to be, you have to go for the hydrogen. You have to go, if you go for a galaxy, you're not gonna see anything with a filter like that. But this filter that I'm telling you about, the quad band anti-light pollution from Antlia, it's been great. It worked very well. I will show you the raw data, and I will show you how I process it, and you let me know your thoughts. You can leave a comment below if you have any questions about this subject, which is a very interesting subject. Monochrome from the city for broadband, or color with a filter. I think either solution is not great. It's a compromise. If you really want to have great images of the galaxies, probably you need to be in an area where it's not so much light pollution. But as I mentioned in the prior videos before, I'm planning to have a trip like that. But for now, we have to do it from here. Okay, so we are in front of the computer, and I will try to keep it as brief as I can this video. So right here you can see the raw 2 minutes exposure for the Sombrero Galaxy. You can see it's not extremely impressive. The stars are not round, especially round in this specific image. With the RC telescope, the GSO, the 8-inch that I have, it's a little bit of a difficult task to collimate it and to be able to guide it properly. And actually it hasn't been bad, and you can see in a corner it's not really bad. A little bit of a coma in here. I mean, I've been struggling mighty with this telescope, so I'm actually quite happy with this result over here. Now when it comes to the galaxy itself, you can see right here the image. This is about 8 hours of exposure, and the the reason for this video is, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, is the argument of how do you get galaxies or reflection nebulas from the city. And it's an argument probably between color or monochrome, right? But none of them can win, because generally speaking it's a very, very difficult thing to do. As you can see in this image, this filter is actually doing a pretty good job, I would say, but you can see the gradients over here. Some sort of reflection over here, I'm not really sure. Generally this kind of pictures, galaxies I mean, I tend to crop in a lot. So we are actually gonna start with this. I'm gonna do like a quick processing, nice and quick, so we can get, you know, an idea how to do it. I always hate to crop too much from the picture, but in this case, let's see, we're gonna do it this way, not too much, not too little, just the right way. First I will stretch this. I should have probably done it before, but there are better ways to do it, to stretch it probably quicker. I usually use histogram transformation. It seems that kind of does the job for me. You see few 1, 2, 3 and you are kind of exactly when you want to be. Now I didn't want you to see this. This is the problem that I have with the flats, right? And this is something that a reflection, I am not sure what this comes from, but just because I use the histogram transformation, you can see all the little bad stuff that is going on, including the vignetting. And that's obviously because as I mentioned, the flats are not properly done. Believe it or not, I've been doing astrophotography for 3 and plus years, and I'm still having trouble sometimes with the flats, especially on this system, specifically the GSO telescope. But anyway, it's not here, not there. It's, as I said, I'm gonna crop into this picture. I'm gonna go even more. We're gonna probably do something like this, then we're gonna rotate it, fast rotation, 90 degrees, and here we are. All right, now when it comes to the filter, as I said, this filter is quite good for this kind of photo, for, you know, a light pollution. It's called Antlia Quad Band Anti-Light Pollution Filter, 2-inch mounted. And as I said, I have it on my filter wheel, together with other, you know, L Pro, L Extreme from Optolong, that I use with the QHY camera, the 268C. And basically I wouldn't necessarily recommend, and my good friend Iwan from Iwan Astro actually told me several times that that's not a good idea to do from the city, but as always I like to try it. And yeah, let's see what we can do with this right now. We will start with dynamic background extraction, and that should, oh yeah, you need to do subtraction and then you'll have the image. Okay, very nice. And as you can see, we kind of didn't get rid of all the gradients, so, but the image is clearer. It's not this milky bluish whatever this is, light pollution stuff. Now it's the galaxy is more visible. Yeah, all right. Now we're gonna keep this image and we're gonna keep working on this one. And what I can do over here, this is a little bit difficult because again I haven't been working on a lot of galaxies. I haven't been. I'm gonna try something with the SCNR to see if we get rid of that green hue. Yeah, and we kind of got rid of it. Okay, that's good. And let's do a little bit more stretching. It's a completely different processing. There are completely different steps in processing a galaxy vs a nebula. And you know, quite honestly, I find the galaxies to be much harder. I don't find them at times that spectacular at the end because, again, there are small objects. You need very precise guiding. The details that you get, they're not great, and so on and so forth. That's the reason why I concentrated on the nebulas. But again, we can give it a shot. This looks for 8 hours of data. I mean, on a nebula, I would have like let me kind of show you something over here. Let's say this is more than 8 hours, but let me see if I can hide. This is a lot more. But you get my idea that you gather more data definitely on nebulas. You gather more light compared to a galaxy, but again, we can give it a shot. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to use Star Exterminator. Normally you don't need this, but what I will try to do, I will try to get rid of these ugly spots over here that you can see from the it's not a very orthodox thing to do, and a lot of people, you know, don't like doing it. And I hate doing it on nebulas if that's the case, and especially, you know, if you know how the nebula is supposed to look like, and you do that kind of stuff, it can become visible. You need to get your flats properly, and eventually I'm sure I will. I don't know when, but hopefully I will learn to do it properly, because I did take flats for this one. They're just not the right flats. All right, so we'll move to Photoshop, and over here just gonna show you a little bit of tip and tricks, I guess, that you can get away with a picture that you can post on Instagram, and that doesn't look horrible, right? And we're gonna be very blunt about it, and I will show you how. And what I usually do, I am going like this, just, you know, butcher the whole image, so to speak. I don't know what that is, but okay, you don't need so more or less, because again, you don't have anything here, right? You have to make sure, of course, you take out the stars first, because you do this otherwise, and you know, you will create a whole mess over here. So the image is still accurate. You know, if somebody, let's say, has a curiosity to check you know, this image specifically and put like you know, a scanner that can scan the stars and be like, okay, that's Sombrero, and what are the stars next to it, you're not gonna have an issue, right? Okay, so after we did this hack job, so to speak, I will stretch this image a little bit, give a little bit more luminosity actually, and we can be something like that. Now you see the spots over here, they still look ugly, but I'll show you how to get rid of that. Now we're going into the camera raw filter, and over here you have to usually play around with, you know, with this with the highlights, with the contrast. This one, you see, kind of gives it a better look on the core. If you lower if you move the contrast on the left, which means you lower it, right? So it's kind of gives it a more flat, which I think that's the way the galaxy looks. Shadows, They don't make a lot of difference. I would probably put them up just because to light up the whole picture. And the same goes for the blacks, right? Now, you can still see the blemishes on the image, but you don't have to worry about that because we will take care of that. Details, you go sharpening a little bit, noise reduction a little bit. We don't go crazy with that. Then on the color grading over here, again, you want to have that bluish hue. Not too much. It's gonna be a little bit. This is a little bit tricky to do. I think that looks more or less okay. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I have few variations of this image already. Can't say though that I'm. As I said, I can't say that it's. Oh my god, drop dead. Gorgeous image, but it is what it is. As I said, for what we're trying to do from the city, it is what it is. I don't think anybody can expect a much better image than what we got here. Of course, if you do have extra exposure and so on and so forth, you might end up with a little bit of a better image. Over here you can see, and that's when you see you missing data, right? Like you see this kind of smudges, you know, not not very clear, right? From a distance it still looks all right, but if you go close, that's when you see that you are missing a lot of data. All right, and now another tool that I like to use, it's from Pro Digital Software, and it's called Astroflat Pro. And this is the magic thing, because you know you need to play with the settings over here a little bit, right? The smoothness and the dark noise reduction, and boom, we have a clean image. As you can see, the background is perfect, right? You can go now a little bit higher, a little bit lower. I would say like just right on the sweet spot. I think this looks good though. And again, I'm not an expert. I'm not trying to give you advice necessarily on how to process galaxies, generally speaking, but just a quick processing, which I always hope is quick, but sometimes takes a little bit more time. So thank you for sticking around. All right, so what we do now, the next step is we will put the stars back in, and using Control T, and we want to make sure that this is right on the center. Then you go to screen, and over here what you can do, because you can see a little bit over here, it's when you take the stars out, it somehow is like scrapping a little bit and takes some other stuff away, right? In some situations, I don't know why. So you can go to image, adjustment level, make sure you are adjusting the layer 1, and you just drop it a touch, right? And that kind of goes away. Now you go merge down. I do have few action from Photochemy Start Tools. I am not really sure honestly what can I use. I will use level stretch luminance, and you see it gives a little bit of a light. I'm gonna do a color boost low and see how is that gonna affect it. That doesn't look very good, so we'll take it out. And I will do another thing that I think is good, is sharpen stars. I always use these tools, I always recommend them, makes your life easy. And basically this is it. I mean, I don't really know what exactly to do with this image much more than this. Again, it is what it is. You cannot stretch further than this. You're not gonna be able to do much more than this. I will show you now very quickly before we finish on the my 3D library. I actually did a video that you can find it on Instagram with the Sombrero, and you see this is a different processing over here, right? I kind of was able to take this edge to see the edge of the galaxy better. And again, if you go very close, which that the video does, you still see a little bit of, and then of course it gets kind of messy all around. But this is the exact same galaxy that I was the same exact picture, and then I have another one which this I took before. This is actually better when it comes to, except if you stop over here and you look at the stars, you see the stars are all messed up. And what it is, I have a Newtonian telescope as well, and I use that. It's much faster. The data gathered that I got, it's much better. But because I screw up with the stars, I couldn't use this image. I mean, I think I did something with it, but it's so bad. It's too bad that I cannot use it, because as you can see, you have a better details on this galaxy. It's a sharper image. It's a better image. I will revisit it. I don't know when I'm gonna take out the Newtonian again. But this is again, you do one but you don't do the other one. And for this one I haven't used any filter actually. So this is broadband, and is done with a color camera. And yeah, as you can see, you get better details. This one over here on the Photoshop, this what you see, all these smudges over here, this is from the filter, right? Like altering the image. That's my assumption, because again, if you look at this one looks better. This was done with no filter. But you cannot do it on a full moon. You have to make sure it's very dark. And I would definitely use a color camera. Again, I haven't tried with a monochrome camera. It's not really something that I'm thinking to do. I would rather use the very limited clear skies that we get here in New York to hunt for nebulas and stuff like that. Thanks again for watching the video, being patient with me, and I will try to post more often and more interesting stuff. I will leave some links below to the telescope that I use and for the filter if you are interested. Have a good one and clear skies. Thank you. Bye bye.